What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sit Down Saturday. Today we're going to be talking about the prospect of Takara Masterpiece Combiners. What does that mean? What does that mean for us? What does that mean for our collections, etc., etc.? But first, we got to do a little bit of house cleaning, so let's go through it. I did the Die Rugger Voltron thing. What's funny is anytime I do something that's Bondi in high grade, I always expect, rarely is anything ever perfect, right? But I always expect that as soon as I do this, I am going to get the backlash of the century. Because in my experience, anytime I ever consider, have the audacity to even contemplate criticizing a Bondi Solar Chijoken or whatever it is, or their Macross stuff, or whatever the case may be, people lose their minds. But the truth is it's pretty good. It's not perfect, and there's some problems, and there's some things that don't seem as well thought out as I would expect with that company, but overall, it's pretty good. I also had my moment of weakness and bought that tune-accurate XTB Trailbreaker. You know, I tell myself over and over and over again, you're not going to buy a stand-in, you're not going to buy something, you're not going to settle, but I think I might change my philosophy again. But that's the thing about, us. We're allowed to change our minds and whatever, and settling is going to be probably the name of my game here for a while, because I'm just not sure how things are going to go, and I want to have something there just in case. But I have to be relatively content with it, right? I don't have to be ecstatic, but I got to be content, and I'm content with that one, so cool. I'm having a little trouble getting Spite onto iTunes this year. I'm waiting for some feedback from them, but it got blocked. I think I know why it got blocked, but I'm not exactly sure. It could be one of two reasons, so I might be having an issue. So I might not be able to have it up for Google Play or iTunes for purchase or streaming. So if you guys have an alternative idea as to what I could do, please get with me privately and put me on to it. We had our Bruticus sit down Saturday. I was fascinated with the answers there. There were some that I totally understood. I totally got. I completely understood their point of view and why they were going the MMC route. And then there were some that I was like, it just seemed like there were some of the responses that were trying to convince themselves it was something that it wasn't. Like, it would be like, yeah, I'm going to buy this microphone. You know why? Because I've always wanted a cordless microphone. I'm like, well, that's not what that is. That's what you say you want, but that's not what that is. So there were some interesting, really interesting answers in there. So I definitely found it worthwhile to raise the question, and I definitely appreciate the feedback. We also had my buddy, Sean Love, send me this Megatron, and we reviewed that, and as most of you saw, it was gorgeous. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Prized possession of my collection. Interview with HDB Toys. You guys seem to dig that. I wish I could do more of those sort of things with more companies, but, I don't have that kind of rapport with a lot of these companies, so that is what it is. But I'm always down if there's somebody out there. You know who would be interesting if I reached out to some companies that are no longer around? Like, if I got contact info. I got one in mind I might try to reach out to and see if I can't have a conversation with. It could be interesting. I made a pretty big purchase this week. I'm feeling pretty sick about it, like nauseous to my stomach, like I was probably super irresponsible, but you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll all turn out all right. I'll be talking about that more on Nerd Rage Radio's episode that published this week, the previous Thursday, and then I'll kind of keep everybody updated as to how it goes. And that should bring us to today's conversation. So, one of the monkey wrenches in all of this combiner stuff has always been the question of what if Takara were to throw their hat in the ring? Now, I'm recording this on Monday. So, if news comes out that this thing is not legit by Saturday, I'm still putting this video out because I got no time to do another one. So if it does come out that it's not legit, then we'll just raise the discussion of what if they were to do something, what would be the smart move. But the question has always been, what if? What would it be like if they put their hat in? I thought the time to do it would be MP50, and I thought Devastator would be the way to go. And I thought, what if they did it in a box set for like $1,000? That would be crazy. Like the old G1 Devastator in a box set. Make a big impact for MP50. But it always seemed like a far-fetched idea and one that wouldn't take place until we got a little sprinkle of a hint or a clue of something possibly coming down the pipeline. Rumors recently started circulating about Takara possibly re-releasing a Raiden set, and most people assumed that it would be a re-release of the G1. The G1 was a Japanese exclusive figure originally that ran alongside the Headmasters cartoon, but we never got in the West. But they tweeted that they would be participating in a special exhibition titled A Railway Story in the Sky, and that a Raiden project would be shown there. Now, this exhibition involves multiple companies: Tokyo Metro, Tokyo Metropolitan Bureau of Transportation, etc., etc. So it seems more thematic and almost gimmicky, or perhaps even political. But then we saw images from the event. It was a big poster. It had a Raiden silhouette. Standing in front of it was 2 display cases. The text supposedly translates, according to the TFW, starting with Transformers Masterpiece, Raiden project has started. And they say it seems Takara has a new plan for Trainbot Combiner Raiden, a Japanese exclusive character and toy from 1987 with now an upcoming Masterpiece mold. But in the display cases themselves are the G1s, along with the new MP 44, the original G1 Prime, and the new MP Bumblebee, which is dog by the way. First of all, allow us to be frank here for just a second. And not to be frank. I'm sure Frank is a pleasant gentleman, but we're quite happy with who we are, aren't we? But to speak frankly, we could be misinterpreting this entire message. And it could have way more to do with the transportation companies, bureaus, divisions, etc. than have anything to do with the real Masterpiece. The Masterpiece could be what the actual railways are providing. Could be a huge play on words that we don't understand because we're not of the culture. But let's say that it is. Is that the right choice? Now, I know the character has a fan following. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting Takara Tomy Masterpiece prefers a sure thing. And I'm suggesting that the most popular combiner, hands down, is Devastator, followed by Bruticus. That's me being objective. My favorite combiner is Minosaur, but I know what time it is. I think Devastator is by far the most iconic one. That makes the most sense to kind of pull off, to try and attempt. And I think it would excite the most people. So it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't seem like the logical choice. I don't think the fan following is that large for a Raiden. You're talking about a significant investment with a significant overhead, significant research, significant design work from a company that's not really in a position to be taking a whole lot of chances. Thus an MP Prime, thus an MPB. Devastator would be the smart way to go. In fact, I don't even think a Superion or a Defensor would work out well for them. I'm sure it would be successful, but not like a Devastator. Not like a Bruticus. And I say that not needing any more Bruticuses. But then I got to thinking, and I was like, why would they do this? And then it dawned on me, maybe for revenge. Now this is tinfoily hat. This is just me driving on my way to work, thinking of talking some shit. Just recently, Hasbro supposedly crowdfunded a Unicron, and the biggest threat to that Unicron was a third-party offering created by Zeta Toys, formerly of Toy World. Some stuff went on behind the scenes, which I've talked about on this channel, and as a result, it crushed Zeta's chances of releasing this figure anytime soon, putting Zeta in, from what I hear, a pretty tough spot financially. But we all have to agree, they caused Hasbro some grief with that crowdfunding as a result of their offering. And I say that not even liking their offering as much, but the price was right and it did look good, so it caused them grief. Now, what else is Zeta working on? Well, they're working on a Predaking, and they're working on a Raiden. And the Raiden seems further along than their Predaking. In fact, we've seen prototypes of their Raiden. If Takara Tomy were to announce a Raiden, I'm not sure that it would be super successful. In the same way, I'm not sure that their Star Saber was super successful, because if it were, I think we would have got the Lion by now. However, is it worth it for them to completely sink that Zeta boat by putting out that Raiden? Because I got news for you. Raiden may have a fan following, but I don't think their fan following could support 2 Masterpiece offerings. It could be a nail in the coffin. Now, all of that is predicated on my I'm just talking. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I never hear anything. I just play and look at the field. What would make a company that has released Soundwave, Starscream, Shockwave, Megatron twice, Optimus 3 times, Bumblebee twice, etc., 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 for the most part clear hit characters, all of a sudden do a Raiden? It doesn't make sense unless it was to just kick dirt on a grave, which I think it could do. But I also think it's entirely possible that we misinterpreted this entire thing. So let's go through it. I think Takara could really put some energy back into Transformers collecting if they were to announce a couple combiners. They would be painted beautifully. They would be sculpted beautifully. The engineering would be some sort of black magic. Shout out to Ella Fitzgerald. And would probably pull off all 3 modes in a crazy way. What do you think? Do you think they would use parts forming? I'm gonna say probably not, but I can see it going either way. I think if they did, it would be incorporated into something that we don't think of. Do you think they would make sacrifices? Like we saw with the Hasbro set that had Masterpiece influence. With the long haul specifically, we saw sacrifices made in order to kind of pull off the combiner aesthetic. With this hypertune accuracy they've been going for recently, do you think they would make those sorts of sacrifices to the bot modes in order to pull off the combiner mode? There's a lot of questions I think that we have to ask ourselves if we really wanted Takara to throw their hat in the ring. Shout out to Nicholas. He hit me up and said, just some food for thought. The average length of a train engine is 70 feet, and the average length of a tractor trailer is about 70 feet also. So if Takara Tomy makes their Masterpiece Raiden in the current MP scale, each piece would have to be as long as MP44 in his trailer. In my opinion, each piece would cost around $500, making it a $3,000 set. Now, I disagree with this. And I'll tell you why, as I'll tell him. The jets don't scale with the trucks. The jets don't scale with the cars. They can tweak scale to kind of suit their needs when they want to. They don't always stick to their scale in a very kind of uniformed, hard borders, parameters type of way. They adapt. They adapt to the circumstances. So I think it's very likely that you could see smaller trains and not have them scale properly with MP44, as long as the bot modes did. But tell me what you guys think. You guys think it's real? Do you think Raiden is the smart choice? Do you think they would use parts forming for their combiners? Who do you think they should do if they're not doing Raiden? How do you feel about it? What would you be willing to pay for one? Total. Let me know. We haven't done something like kind of super topical in a while, so I wanted to have like a more topical discussion for once. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.